But Dr. Deagle, real fast, tell folks what's going on.
You're doing a great job, Alex. Just always bummed waking up, including the police and the sheriffs. Former county sheriff from our Central Arkansas.
How can they not wake up when 95% know it's a scam?
Exactly. Well, he called in and basically their plan is this new DNA vaccine against H5N1. All the county sheriffs in the country are going to be forced vaccinated and their families.
Well, they tried forced vaccination in 2003, as you know, for the firefighters, police, nurses, medical workers, and the L.A. Times reported that 4,000 out of 14 million who were ordered to do it said no.
Yeah, and those that did, if they had any silent unstable plaque...
A bunch of people died, yeah they had including an NBC News reporter who took it.
Now, this vaccine, they'll tell you that the vaccine that they've got for the... is the same vaccine that Sanofi Pasteur in France had. Two scientists were Mossad-style executed a little over a month ago, and their 500 million doses were delivered mid-September to American military bases and Homeland Security.
Well, explain what an H5N1 is.
Well, H5N1 is the virus that's been tracked in Asia, and there's at least half a dozen what's called high pathogenic strains.
That's the bird flu.
Yeah, and what they've done is they made a bird flu vaccine, only this is a DNA vaccine, which means it carries DNA that can recombine if you have the flu. Just like
the HPV shot, the live cancer virus shot is killing so many people, and that's admitted, but they don't tell you that on the news, so the women keep giving it to their girls.
Right. Not only that, the regular flu shot also has genes from H5N1 that's in an H3N2 as part of the trivalent vaccine they're giving out this fall. They're going to start in the next few weeks.
By the way, you're not just a medical doctor. You're a research scientist doctor.
Right. And the thing is that I worked with Homeland Security in Operation Top Off in Dark Winter.
That was when you were in Denver, you know.
Yeah, and I was in Denver, and what's going on here, they're literally turning people into test tubes that could create the pandemic.
Hey, I had the head of Rick Perry's office, forget the exact name. He showed up at Endgame last year, one of the same screenings that we saw Willie Nelson at, and he said, look, I have to admit, 15 years ago when I was a medic at Fort Sam Houston Medical Center in San Antonio, these troops came in, they were told to give them shots, and they all died in 3 days.
Oh, yeah. Listen, I was told that if I followed up on the anthrax vaccine at CCOM, that I would be told that I would be fired or worse. And I said, what's worse? And I said, how about dead, Doc? And that's the fact. The other thing is the carbon tax is tied directly to the bailout.
No, it's actually in our bailout. They're going to put a carbon tax, and they're getting ready with Barack Obama saying that, quote, he is going to tax carbon dioxide, which is a life-giving gas. Stay there, Dr. Deagle. I'm going to let you finish up after this quick break. Stay with us. But, Dr. Deagle, finishing up your point you were making about all this. We got Dr. Deagle there?
Yeah, and you've been saying it for years. It's part of the hard kill. And I believe that they're getting ready because these vaccines, they deliver...
Let's explain. Fluoride, mercury in the vaccines, MSG, all that's the soft kill in government documents to weaken us. You're talking about hard kill, which is the UN plan for world population reduction.
Right. March 16th, 1997, when I spoke at Zurich, Switzerland, Human Life International, they gave me a foot of documents, including a private audience and documents smuggled out of the World Health Organization, paid for by these globalist banksters, to actually weaponize using bioengines and create an H5N1 strain that would eventually create an avian pandemic. Same lethal genes as the human-pig hybrid flu from 1918. And that, by the way, we have great evidence.
And again, we have thousands of declassified tests in Europe and the U.S. of killing our troops, killing foster children, putting AIDS, HIV in blood, all mainstream news, but the public still isn't fully aware of it. This is a global eugenics operation covered in my film Endgame Blueprint for Global Enslavement.
Right, and the worst nation on earth, believe it or not, in the world for eugenics is Canada. Number one. Not only that, they're planning to shut down the internet and control it with the CRTC. They're planning to do it.
Yeah, they've been that all over, regulating it, taxing it, shutting it down. Right. INFOWARS.com is not going to be, quote, on the free that you pay for through taxes. Government wireless nationwide, worldwide.
Yeah, the evidence is gathering. They suggested 3 months ago there was a 32-month window where they expected 100% chance of an avian pandemic. I believe that they're going to bring about it by one or several different means. They could do it by the vaccines and have it, quote, spontaneously develop in people by recombining, because they actually put the genes into people.
Which is why Tommy Thompson, Health and Human Services Secretary, 5 years ago said he wouldn't take it. And that's when the cops finally said no to taking it, because he said it can go live in the body.
Oh, yeah, and they'll tell you it's attenuated. There's no such thing as an attenuated vaccine. This is a chunk of DNA that when it recombines with another virus, you've got, let's say, an H3N2 that's now lethal. They're ready. I believe they're now ready to do the final, what I call hard kill steps.
Now, let's explain this. They use financial crises, stage terror, provocateur terror, terror they let happen, terror they engineer to get us to give up our liberties, or not even get us to. That's their excuse for doing it. We say no, they still just do it. And you're saying, as they've said in their own documents, they want to use controlled biological releases to create worldwide breakdown as a pretext for control. And I'm telling listeners that is in the cards.
Yeah, and if they don't get their food and water and their nutraceuticals and be able to host quarantine themselves, they're getting ready to force vaccinate, and every single airport in the United States and Canada and the Western world has a quarantine transfer room and armed officers that can take you away to a waiting van to bring you to a civil detention camp.
Absolutely.
Hey, now that exists.
Dr. Deagle, good hearing from you. I'm glad you called into the show.
I appreciate it, Alex.
You bet, my friend. Just amazing information that Dr. Deagle brings to the table. We appreciate you coming on the show, my friend. He's not joking around. These are cold-blooded killers running the world government. And you can deny that at your own peril, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let's start really going fast to your calls. Doug in Texas, you're on the air. Welcome.